Hey there, it's Bobby Legs, and welcome to another episode of my body recomp journey. Losing weight, losing fat, body fat, and that progression that's been going on for now, like the last, like I would say, just before the beginning of this year, mid-December, I kind of started or made that decision to make a change. I know it's been a couple of weeks since I posted anything. Things in the personal life was going on, but now I should be back on track. At least giving you an update once a week. A couple of things that I want to discuss before I show some of the statistics analytics of my recomp. Um, though I want to talk about this again, but the scale definitely plays some tricks on you, and we'll go over my numbers in a little bit. But I feel lean. The last couple of weeks, especially, I've been feeling pretty lean. I don't know how else to describe it. I just feel like things are fitting better now. The scale doesn't necessarily reflect that, but that's how tricky this whole thing is, right? Depending on the scale. And I know I've said in a couple of videos, and I'm aware never to fall into the trap of like seeing or hanging everything on like whatever the scale says. Follow the trends, and I do follow the trends, but I still can't help it. It messes with me sometimes, so I have to talk it out. Um, anyway, I want to talk about a couple of things that I've noticed since losing some weight here, about myself and my body. Uh, about 6 months ago, I stumbled upon a series of videos of like these like influencers in the longevity space saying, if you want to predict how if you're going to die in the next 10 years, here's just a couple of things that your body should be doing. So like one of the things was like um, standing on one, balancing on one leg, right? Have the one leg down and like your other leg like off the ground, like a little bit higher, a few inches high up in the air, whatever. And if you could hold that for a long period of time, then you're in good shape. You're not going to die within the next 10 years. And so like of course, like I whether that's true or not, I don't know. I gotta try it. So, I tried it, and like, I would be able to stay on the one leg for like maybe like, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seconds, but like be wobbly. And I'm like, oh crap, I'm going to die in the next 10 years. Right. Anyway, and look, and all this time, I was, lifting weights, my legs are, I have skinny legs, but there were, I think they were strong, and I was doing a lot of karate, and that definitely works out your legs. But I was still having some of these balance issues. Well, fast forward to now, after losing, I guess I've lost like maybe 15 pounds since mid December, 12 to 15, somewhere in that range. Um, I know that's a big difference of 3 pounds. I know, it could have been 15 pounds, and whatever. Anyway, I've noticed that I'm able to stay on balance on my on either leg, for quite a period of time, and then moving that leg that's off the ground like higher up to like knee, move my knee up to waist high. I've been able to do that for a good amount of time, at least like 10, 15, 20 seconds I could do it. And um and I think it's, I got to attribute some of that, to the training, and some of that to the weight loss. Like I carry a lot of my weight like in the middle of my body. Like I'm barrel heavy. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot there. I got skinny legs, and I got a big ass head, and a big barrel body, chest, and mid region. So maybe some of that melting away has helped me keep that balance up, because my skinny little legs can doesn't need to support as much. Also, another thing I was able to do today, and I've been taking these capoeira classes every Sunday now for several months, about a month and a half. And today we tried in the warm ups like a back bridge, and you know, getting to that position, it is very difficult for me. And at best, I'm able to do some of it, and just like, but resting the back of my, the top of my head on the ground, and not being able to like push myself up. So today was like one of the first days. Today was the first day I was able to like to do that. Actually, push myself up, and my head was off the ground, and like my whole like mid torso was up in the air. If you can imagine, like a bridge. And my instructor helped me with a technique, like, make sure you breathe out before you do that, right? Don't hold the air in. That helped. But I mean, it definitely is also the fact that I'm like carrying less weight into my torso is definitely helped me with that. Anyway, let's jump right into some of the statistics here, some of the numbers I'll show you. So, um, this week was the first official week that I was under 180 pounds in the trend line. Now, a couple weeks ago, I was like 179 pounds for a couple days, but the whole week, the average was above 181 or whatever it was. You can see here last week, it's 181.5, and then if you go to this week, it's 179.9. So from last week, um, and I spent several days this week under 179. I think I ended today. I actually ended at my average at 179.9 this morning when I weighed in. But there was a couple days when I was like 179.1, 179.0. So the trend line is down. So I'm down compared to last week from 181.2 to 179.9 average, and I'm weighing myself every day. So I lost 1.3 pounds compared to last week. So very happy with that. Um, my goal weight here is 175 when I started, when I was like above 190. Um, that's changing. I'm dropping the goal weight because I'm realizing that I have a lot more fat than I thought I did, especially around my midsection. And so my new goal is 170, and I have a feeling that that's still a little too high. Like my initially, I shared that my goal was to, just have a flat stomach, lose the love handles. But now I kind of want the abs. Now I want to, not shooting for like a six pack or an eight pack. If I could get a couple abs in there, I'll be happy with that. But I may, for that to happen, I think I have to drop another 15 pounds to like 165. Anyway, I'm going to shoot for 170 by the end by 2 months from now. I'd like to see if I can get to 170 2 months from now. So that's 8 or 9 weeks. That's a little bit of aggressive. That's more than a pound a week. Although, like, it seems like I've been able to do that. Maybe not consistently, but fairly consistently, I've been able to go down a pound a week. That may mean cutting more calories. Like I'm around like 2,000 to 2,200 calories a day. I'm doing like 10 to 12,000 steps. I'm working out like twice at least with the resistance training. The spring is tough. The kids have softball and baseball and karate. Like I'm leaving at 6:15 in the morning to go to work, and I'm coming home like at 7 o'clock at night because I'm picking up the kids after school, taking them to practice or taking them to a game. So the next like couple months, at least until like early June, it's going to be rough. But I'm trying to get at least two gym workouts, and I've altered my philosophy or my training routine in those workouts, since I'm not gonna have more than like two a week. I have to dial up the intensity in those two workouts. So instead of doing like 4 sets to 12, um, I'm gonna be doing like 1 to 2 sets a body part um, to failure. Right. I'm just gonna dial up the intensity and see how that works. And then, of course, I'm doing karate a couple times a week, and I'm doing this couple warrior class on Sundays. So I'm fairly active. Fairly active. But I'm gonna have to like maybe cut a little bit calorie wise. Maybe try to get to 1,900 consistently. And my friend John, he's got a YouTube um, channel. He's a trainer. Was up here in Jersey. Now he's down in Florida, and he's amazing. He's amazing. He does these cuts, and he's very successful. And what he does is he eats the same thing every day, and that takes the guessing game out of it. You don't have to count calories anymore because you know exactly what each meal is going to be like. I my breakfasts are pretty much the same, but everything else kind of varies, and that's where I get into trouble with the calories, meaning that it's not consistent. So I mean, some days might be 2,000, days might be 2,200. Anyway, consistency is the key, and he's got the right idea, and I just got to follow that. Okay. So here we go. Here's like, with the Hume scale, let's forget about the body fat percentage. I'm probably more than that. Um, I don't even look at this anymore. I'm just looking for trend lines. 135.5 pounds of lean mass. I got to get that lean mass up. Um, it's going to be hard to do that on a cut, but the more lean mass you have, the more calories you burn. It's just simple. It's just simple. I probably should have done a bulk before I did the cut. But now I'm in the cut and I'm doing it. And then when I'm out getting out of the cut, hopefully if I'm successful getting to where I want to be, I'll bulk up a little bit again and then do a cut and rinse and repeat. And finally, subcutaneous fat mass, visceral fat index, whatever that means. I mean, I know what visceral fat means, but I don't know how Hume calculates this. Skeletal mass and skeletal muscle mass. Anyway, so there you go. Those are my numbers, and that's my update for this week. Hey, if you guys are doing it, if you guys are thinking about dropping some fat and some pounds, man, I encourage you to do so. Remember, for me, what works is prioritizing protein, cutting calories, and then 10 to 12,000 steps, and training. It's a lot. It's a lot. It really is. And that I'm not law. That doesn't. I'm not law. That doesn't escape me. That's a lot of stuff. Especially if you're a little bit older like I am. But hey, man, whatever motivates you. Anyway, have a good one. I'll see you guys next week. Take care.